Well, we're joined here today by Doug Ose. And Doug, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, how does one talk about oneself? Well, I was born and raised here. Went to local schools. Graduated from Rural Americano in '73. Went off to Berkeley, graduated there, came back home, went in the real estate development business. Over a lifetime, I've had a number of opportunities, one of which I'm most grateful for is I've had the privilege of representing this area in the United States Congress for 6 years. Retired from that at the end of '04. Came back home and went back in the real estate business. I'm married, I have 2 kids. My sisters all live here in town with their families. My parents are alive, they live here in town. I'm just a local Sacramento kid.
And so you've been involved with Gibson Ranch. Tell us a little bit about what Gibson Ranch is.
This is one of the most, this is fun. Okay, you have to understand, this is just fun. This is a 320-acre piece of property. It's basically half a section, half a square mile, that the county has owned since the early '60s, which due to a number of fiscal problems, the county is just simply unable to maintain properly and keep open for the public. Last spring of 2010, the county entered into a process to essentially find a way to keep the park open. And I put in a proposal, and at the end of the process, my proposal was accepted. And my proposal envisions opening a public park under a private management. So we do all the things that a public park would do, but we bring some entrepreneurial abilities and some market-driven dynamics to play to try and increase the revenue so we can properly maintain the park, offer services that people want, and turn it back into, frankly, an asset that the north part of the county of Sacramento and the south part of Placer County can utilize for active and passive recreation. We've got horses, fishing, we've got an area where you can do those remote-controlled planes and boats that fly around. You can ride your bike, you can have picnics and barbecues. We can handle up to 15,000 people on this site. So it's really it's kind of like an unpolished diamond. Just needs a little attention. And that's what I've been doing for the last 6 weeks.
And it sounds fascinating. And tell us, what do you see Gibson Ranch in, say, 6 months, and even in 5 years?
Well, let's look at it 6 months. If we oh boy, let me just give you a sense of where we've come from and where we're going. 3 weeks ago, the grass was 18 to 24 inches high. The fences were, the rails on the fences were down probably every 5th rail. We were down to about 35 horses being boarded there. Nobody could get in the park for picnics. The lake wasn't stocked. The bathrooms hadn't been cleaned in 9 months. The garbage cans hadn't been emptied since Labor Day. In the last 3 weeks, we've had Fish and Game come out and stock the lake. We've raised the number of horses being boarded there from 35 to about 42. We've brought in cattle and sheep to do what I would call a minimum carbon imprint kind of thing to take the weeds and the grass down. On those areas where we've tried to get the picnics and barbecues back up, we've hired a local landscape maintenance guy who's also born and raised in Sacramento and knows what Gibson Ranch can be. He's come out and he's chipped in, and we've got all the picnic areas and the barbecue stuff all cleaned up. The bathrooms are being cleaned every night. The garbage is being removed every night. Now we're in the process of expanding out from those basics, trying to get the quarter-mile track fixed up, trying to get the fishing even more refined. We've got a number of events where people have come and said, look, I want to have a church picnic, or I want to have a family barbecue, or I've got a blues festival that wants to come here. We've even had an inquiry from an Olympic qualifying archery organization to come out to Gibson Ranch. And what we're trying to do is figure out where can we put these different activities so that folks can come to the park and have a good time. We've got our own private security in place, so people, when they come, they know that they're going to be okay. It's not going to be a bunch of gang-ridden, graffiti-marked walls where it's a drunken brawl. That's just not going to happen, period. Now, 6 months from now, it won't be a golf course, but it'll be better than it is today. Today, the weeds have been cut down the first cut, so they're down to maybe 5 inches from 18 to 24. We got to go back over it with heavier equipment, take it down to the 3.5-inch level. We've got post and cable systems along all of the roadways that have to be essentially refurbished and rehabilitated. That stuff's underway. We started that yesterday, in fact. We've got new signage that's going in. We're going to bring in additional livestock. I've got an order out for about 20 head of cattle that I want to put over on a 23-acre piece. We've got a petting zoo in place now. We're going to try and add animals to that over the coming months. We have Civil War Days on May 20th, 21st, and 22nd. I got 1,400 elementary school kids coming on the 20th of May. I have no idea how I'm going to handle it, but we will. And what they do is they come and they get a first-hand glimpse of how, you know, the blue and gray sides of the Civil War lived, because we bring in Civil War reenactors from around the state. We hired a guy out of LA to portray Abraham Lincoln. Then the following 2 days, it's open to the public. We've got Easter this weekend coming up, and a grand opening the day before that. So Saturday and Sunday, the 23rd and 24th of April. It's going to be very busy. We had a great weekend this past weekend. We had like 6 events going on Saturday. It must have been, I'd say, 900 to 1,000 people in the park. There were men and their kids fishing. There were grandparents walking through the park. You know, and I actually go out and visit with a lot of them because I want to know what they're thinking. And the grandparents are sitting there saying, I'm so glad this park's open. This is where I used to bring my kids. And then I go talk to the parents and they say, I'm so glad the park's open. My kids love this place. So what we're doing is we're creating a tradition, or reestablishing a tradition that's existed in this community for years. And our goal over the next 6 months, or even 5 years, is to strengthen that commission, that tradition, to the point where it again becomes part of our local lore. That's what we want. That's our goal. Make Gibson Ranch available for people to come and have fun in.
Thank you very much, Doug. We appreciate your coming in and visiting with us.
Thank you, Doug.